The stars above the council chamber were calm, but inside everything felt cold. Leaders from many alien species sat around the long glowing table. They spoke in quiet voices, their eyes on the human representatives standing in the center. Earth's ambassador, a middle-aged man named Clayton, stood tall. Beside him, a young officer named Derek watched the council with tense eyes. The room had once welcomed humans with open arms. Now, it felt like a trial. "We are not asking for war," Clayton said calmly. "We're asking for protection. Our colonies near the Drax system are under attack. We've seen alien fleets moving closer. Need support ships, resources, anything." A tall insect-like alien clicked its jaws. "Humans have always been loud," it said. "Always proud, always wanting more. Now you ask for help when your power is weak?" Another alien, with silver skin and dark eyes, nodded slowly. "Earth has shown itself unstable. Your kind is brave, yes, but unpredictable. The council must protect the balance." "What balance?" Derek whispered to himself, but the room heard him. Clayton gently pulled Derek back. A vote began. One by one, the council members raised their hands or limbs in favor of cutting ties with Earth. No more protection. No more trade. No more communication. It was done in less than a minute. Clayton stood still, face pale. Derek's hands curled into fists. "So that's it?" Derek asked. "Abandon us?" The silver-skinned alien looked at him. "We are not your guardians. Perhaps this will teach your species to respect peace." They were escorted out in silence. As the doors closed behind them, Derek turned back for one last look at the chamber. No one looked at him. Back on Earth, the news spread quickly. Headlines flashed across every screen. "Council abandons Earth." Debates filled the air. People shouted, protested, cried, but something deeper happened too. Something quiet, something powerful. In the city of New Geneva, scientists gathered. In secret labs, projects once banned by the council were reopened. Deep in orbit, old warships were pulled out of storage and examined. An idea began to grow. "No more waiting," said an old general. "No more begging for help. If we must stand alone, we'll stand strong." Derek was called back to Earth's Defense Command. His old training officer met him with a sharp nod. "You still want to serve?" he asked. "I want to protect." Derek replied. He was assigned to a new Unit Silent Storm Squadron. Her mission was clear. Train harder, move faster, fight smarter. No one would take Earth lightly again. Meanwhile, a young engineer named Lena worked in a hidden lab under Mars' surface. Her eyes glowed with focus as she studied a strange power core design taken from forbidden tech the Council had sealed away long ago. It was risky, dangerous, but Lena believed in it. "We call it the quantum spine," she explained to her team. "If we install this in a ship, it won't just fly faster. It could bend around attacks move like nothing else in the galaxy." Her team looked at her, uncertain. "It could explode," one whispered. "Or," Lena said, smiling, "it could make us untouchable." Governments united. Earth's nations stopped arguing and started building. Ships were constructed in space yards across the system. New weapons were tested on moons. Training camps filled with new recruits. Earth didn't speak of war but of preparation. Every human remembered the moment the Council turned their backs. They didn't want revenge. They didn't want to destroy. They just didn't want to beg again. Derek stood on a platform above. A field of soldiers, all wearing dark armor with the new human symbol, a burning star and a closed fist. "No one is coming to save us," Derek shouted. "So we become the power we once searched for." Cheers followed. It wasn't joy, it was resolve. Far beyond, the alien council carried on as usual. They spoke of peace, of balance, of trade routes and border control. But whispers of Earth's silence began to spread. No new messages. No requests. No movement. They thought Earth had gone quiet. They were wrong. In the deep dark of space, something was being born. Not just a fleet, not just weapons, but a decision humanity no longer wanted. Peace that could be taken away. They wanted something else. They wanted strength. Months passed, but the anger on Earth did not fade. Instead, it became something sharper. It's not hate, but focus. Deep under the icy surface of Europa, Lena stood beside a tall, dark structure. Her new prototype ship, the Ember Fang, was ready for its first test. It looked nothing like traditional ships. Its design was strange narrow wings, shifting plates, and a glowing core at the center that pulsed like a heartbeat. "Are you sure it won't break apart?" one engineer asked nervously. "No," Lena said honestly, "but I'm sure we won't grow unless we take risks." The hangar doors opened, and the Ember Fang lifted into the black sky. Its engine let out a low hum before vanishing with a sharp crack of energy. Watchers stared at the empty sky. "Where did it go?" someone whispered. "Check the long-range sensors," Lena said, walking to the control panel. A moment later, the signal came back. The ship had moved from Europa to Titan's orbit in seconds, something no Council engine could do. "We're ready," Lena said quietly. Back on Earth, Derek stood in front of a tactical screen, watching red dots appear across human space. Patrol ships reported small alien vessels scouting near outer colonies. One colony had gone silent the night before. "What's the plan?" his officer asked. "We don't wait anymore," Derek answered. "Assemble Fireteam Alpha. Tell them to prepare for engagement." Fireteam Alpha was humanity's first elite strike unit since the Council's abandonment. Trained in zero-G combat, stealth, and shipboarding, they moved like shadows. Within hours, Derek's fleet arrived at the silent colony. The station was dark, with hull damage and no response. "Move in," Derek ordered. They entered quietly. Inside, everything was broken, lights flickering, walls burnt, and signs of a quick fight. Then they found survivors hidden in the food storage unit. Mother held her child close. "They came fast," she said. 3 alien ships, took resources, and left. Derek's eyes turned cold. They thought we wouldn't fight back. Before leaving the station, he left a beacon message in space. "We are watching. We are not prey." 2 days later, another attack happened. But this time, Derek and his team were ready. 3 human ships, including Lena's Ember Fang, dropped out of warp. Their weapons lit up the sky. The alien ships tried to escape, but Ember Fang's movement confused them. It didn't fly, it danced, bending space-like. A ripple. In less than 5 minutes, all enemy ships were destroyed. It wasn't just a victory. It was a warning. News of the battle spread beyond human space. Pirate bands who once thought of Earth as easy pickings now paused. Traders from neutral species began to offer quiet deals. And in the council chambers, an old advisor whispered, "They've changed." The council dismissed it, but they didn't know what humans were building next on the moon. Engineers constructed a new base, one that wasn't meant for peacekeeping. It was made of heavy black metal, shielded against deep space attacks. They called it Fort Sentinel. From there, Earth could strike or defend without asking anyone. The council used to say we were reckless, Lena said, watching construction from a window. "We were," Derek replied. "But now we're careful, and that's scarier." Meanwhile, Earth's leaders met underground in a secure chamber. They were no longer divided by borders. Representatives from every region sat at one table, speaking one purpose, no more. "Begging, no more fear," said the New World commander. "We will not start wars, but we will finish them." They agreed to a single command structure for defense, exploration, and future action. Derek was chosen as field leader. Lena was made Chief of Fleet Innovation. Earth's new banner was raised a silver star surrounded by a solid ring. It meant unity. It meant protection. It meant humans had learned from betrayal. Then came the message, A scout ship picked up a transmission. Council forces moving to a ward neutral zone near human space. It was not a direct threat, but it felt like pressure. The council was watching. Now, maybe testing. "What do we do?" Lena asked. Derek looked at the map, then he looked at the sky. "We show them we're not afraid." He sent a single ship, the Ember Fang, into the neutral zone. It didn't attack. It didn't speak. It just floated there, bright and still. When council ships saw it, they paused, scanned it, and slowly turned back. Humanity had spoken without a word. They were no longer waiting. They were preparing. The Ember Fang returned from the neutral zone without a scratch. Derek watched the ship land at Fort Sentinel, its strange engine still humming as if it held a storm inside. Lena stepped out of the airlock with a calm face, but her eyes burned with energy. "They didn't come close," she told Derek. "The council ship scanned us, waited a few minutes, then turned around." Derek nodded. "They're afraid. They just don't know how much yet." A new plan began that day. Earth sent out scout ships across the galaxy. Not to spy, but to show presence. Each one carried advanced tech developed by Lena's team. The ships didn't carry ambassadors or peace flags. They carried databanks, defense grids, and armor strong enough to stand against most alien weapons. They didn't speak first. They waited to be noticed. On a dry planet near the edge of former council-controlled space, a group of alien pirates prepared an ambush. They had been watching Earth's colonies for months and believed they had found a soft target. "Only 2 human ships here," their leader hissed. "Take the supplies. Leave no trail." But when they attacked, the 2 human ships did not flee. Instead, they spread apart, surrounded the pirate vessels, and activated strange fields that disrupted engines. Before the pirates could fire, their own weapons stopped working. A quiet voice came through their comms. "You picked the wrong system." A second later, the pirate ships were disabled. No one was hurt. But the message was sent clearly: do not test Earth's strength. Back at Fort Sentinel, Derek stood before a group of fleet captains. Some were from Earth, others from Mars, Europa, and Titan. They wore different uniforms, but their eyes were the same, sharp and ready. "We are not looking for war," Derek said, "but we're also not going to hide. From now on, every colony, every ship, every human is protected. If the Council or anyone else wants to challenge that, they'll find out what we've become." Every captain stood and saluted. Humanity had changed. Meanwhile, the heart of the Council's homeworld, whispers grew louder. One report after another showed strange readings from human ships. Energy spikes, stealth signals, advanced weapon trails. The same council that had once dismissed Earth now held secret meetings. "What do they want?" One member asked. "They haven't said a word since the vote," another replied. "They're watching. They're waiting." An old alien with glowing skin stood up. "We left them with nothing. Now they're building something greater than us. Should we reach out and admit we were wrong?" Silence followed. On Earth, Lena walked through a massive new hangar. Hundreds of engineers worked around a colossal ship being built in parts. It was bigger than anything Earth had ever created. "What do you call this one?" Derek asked, walking beside her. "The Guardian," Lena said. "It won't move fast. If it parks above a world, nothing can shake it. How long until it's ready?" 3 months, maybe 2, if we push." Derek looked at the workers. He could see their tired faces, their stained clothes, and still they smiled. No one complained. They knew why they were building, not for glory, for safety. A few days later, a message came from a distant colony. A small alien fleet had entered human space, claiming they were lost. They asked for fuel and help. Earth responded with caution. A single drone ship approached them, carrying food, supplies, and a clear signal: "We offer help once. Respect our space. Leave once supplied." The alien ships accepted the supplies, then left quickly. It was a small moment. But powerful, humans were not cruel. They were just done being weak. Lena returned to her lab. She sat before a table with new energy crystals glowing faintly. They pulsed in rhythm, almost like a heartbeat. "These can power the Guardian for 20 years, she told her team. "No need for council tech anymore. We're writing our own path, I'll swear." Derek visited a training camp on Mars. New recruits barely out of school, trained under low-gravity conditions. Their eyes burned with determination, not for revenge, but for duty. "Will we ever be part of the council again?" one cadet asked. "Do you want to be?" Derek asked back, the cadet thought, then shook his head. "No, sir. They left us behind." "What? Then let's move forward," Derek said. "They may come to us. But we don't chase them. We defend our own. We stand tall. From the cold moons to the warm core worlds, humanity stood united, and the stars, once full of fear and silence, now echoed with a different feeling. Respect, the kind are not given. The Guardian warship floated above Earth like a silent giant. Its thick armor plates shined under the sun, and its long shape stretched like a fortress in space. It wasn't fast, but it didn't need to be. It was made to defend. It was made to be seen from the observation deck. Derek stood with his arms crossed. Lena stood beside him, her hands resting on the glass. "It's ready," she said quietly. Derek didn't speak for a moment. He stared at the ship. The world had changed. This ship proved it. "Move it to the edge of our space," he said at last. "Let them know we're watching." Soon, the Guardian left Earth orbit. It traveled slowly, but with purpose, escorted by 5 smaller ships. Its destination was a star system close to old Council routes, not to attack, only to show that humanity had reached now. Within days, the galaxy noticed on the Council homeworld, a heated meeting began. Large screens showed the Guardian in motion. Its readings were strange. The power signature was different from any known ship. "They've created something beyond our design," a council member said. "Should we contact them?" another asked. But the room was full of pride and fear. The silence said everything. No one wanted to admit they had misjudged the humans. Meanwhile, on a trade station near the edge of human space, something unexpected happened. A group of alien merchants arrived in peace. They were from a small neutral race known for dealing with everyone but avoiding conflict. They asked for a meeting with human commanders. Derek arrived at the station with a small team. They didn't bring weapons. They didn't need to. The lead merchant, short with soft green skin, bowed slightly. "We came with respect. We wish to trade and learn." Derek studied the merchant. There was no sign of deception. "Why now?" Derek asked. The merchant answered softly. "The stars have changed. The council watches you. Others fear you. But we see something else, order. Strength, protection." Derek didn't smile, but he nodded. "We don't want war, but if anyone enters our space without permission, they won't get a second chance." The merchant agreed. Deals were made. Resources were shared. For the first time in months, real peace was found, but this time on human terms. Back at the Fleet Command, Lena ran tests on a new ship engine. Smaller than the Emberfang's core, but easier to install on other ships. She called it the Pulse Engine. "With this," she told her team, "even our smallest ships can move like shadows. No one will catch them." Her engineers worked non-stop. They knew the future of humanity wasn't just in big ships, it was in smart ships. Fast ships. Unexpected ships across the galaxy, others began to copy. Not human tech, they couldn't, but human behavior. Some alien species who were once afraid of the Council began standing taller. They started defending their colonies more, speaking with stronger voices. "The humans chose their own way," one alien said during a public speech. "So can we." The Council noticed, and finally a message came. It wasn't long, wasn't warm. "To human command, we request dialogue." The words were simple, but they carried weight. Derek read the message in silence. He showed it to Lena, then forwarded it to Earth's leaders. The final answer was short too. "You left us in silence. Now we will answer in silence. We don't need a seat at your table. We built our own." The Council did not respond again, but they did not send any more ships either. Weeks later, Derek stood at Fort Sentinel, watching a new class of cadets train. They weren't just from Earth. They came from Mars, Titan, Europa, and outer colonies. All human, all united. What happens if the Council returns? One cadet asked. Derek thought for a moment. Then he said, "Then they'll find we've been waiting." On a distant moon, a young girl watched a human ship fly overhead. Her father, a farmer, smiled and said, "We used to hope others would protect us now. Our own people do." Lena smiled when she heard that story. "We didn't become monsters," she told Derek. "We just stopped being afraid." And Derek nodded. "They forced us to grow, and now they can't stop what we've become." Above them, the Guardian held its position like a silent shield. Humanity had not chosen war. They had chosen strength, and the stars would never forget. The Guardian now floated near the galactic border like a mountain in space, its shadow-covered moons. Ships that passed by slowed, scanned it, and left quickly. No one dared to challenge it. Inside, Derek stood at the central command bridge. New alerts blinked on the screen, nothing dangerous, just patrol reports. Everything was calm. Outside, a group of human ships moved in formation, scanning the outer edge of their space. They were not preparing for war. They were just making sure no one crossed the line again. Back on Earth, leaders watched the sky with pride. Once divided by borders and politics, they now stood as one voice. Factories built ships instead of weapons of war. Schools taught children about strength, but also about kindness. The message was clear. Never be weak again, but never lose what makes us human. Lena stood in her lab, holding a small glowing cube, the new power cell she had designed. It could last 50 years, small enough for even a drone, but strong enough to power a warship. This will change everything, her assistant whispered. Yes, Lena said, but let's use it wisely. As peace settled across human colonies, the galaxy took notice. Some feared this silence, others respected it, and a few wanted to test it. Far away, a powerful alien empire that had never followed council laws began moving its fleet. They believed humans had grown too fast, too bold. They thought the silence meant weakness. They called it bluff. So they sent a single ship, crossed into human space slowly, scanning everything. It didn't fire, it didn't talk. But it didn't turn back either. Earth's sensors picked it up quickly. Unknown signature, said one officer. Non-council. Aggressive scan pattern. Send a message, Derek ordered. Warn it once. The message was simple. You have entered protected space. Leave or be removed. No reply. The ship kept coming. Derek turned to his crew. Prepare the Guardian. Lena joined him moments later. They're testing us, she said. Then let's give them an answer. The Guardian moved forward with slow, heavy power. 2 escorts flew beside it. The unknown ship paused. For a moment it looked like it would flee, but then it activated shields and locked weapons. Targeting us, the officer confirmed. Derek gave the order. Disable it, not destroy. Just make sure they understand. The Guardian's main cannon hummed. A single shot fired clean, silent, bright. It didn't hit the ship directly. It passed just near enough to disrupt the ship's systems. Lights on the alien ship blinked out. Its engines failed. It began to drift. Human ships surrounded it. No words were spoken. The message was clear. After a few hours, the alien ship rebooted and turned away. It left quietly. It didn't return. That day, the stars listened. The galaxy now understood. Humans were not bluffing. On the council homeworld, the full recording of the encounter played before the leaders. They watched in silence. When the video ended, no one argued. No one laughed. They are not part of the council, one member said, but they no longer need to be. Another added, they are. Something new. On Earth, news spread fast. People didn't cheer or celebrate. They just nodded. Another test had come, and they had passed it. Derek looked out the window of the Guardian's bridge. Stars sparkled in the distance. Each one held danger, but also hope. Lena joined him. Do you think they'll ever trust us again? Maybe, Derek said. But it doesn't matter anymore. We trust ourselves. She smiled. It started with being abandoned. And now, look where we are. He nodded. They thought we would break. Instead, we became unshakable. From small colonies to deep space stations, every human knew one thing. Their future was in their own hands. They didn't wait for protection. They became the protectors. They didn't run from threats. They faced them, not out of hate, but out of strength. Years later, children would learn this moment in school, how humanity rose from silence, how power was built not through violence, but through unity, science, and the choice to never beg again. A message was written in every human ship's system, visible to all species who scanned them. We do not seek war, but we do not kneel. We were abandoned. Now we stand. Enter our space with peace, and we will share it. Enter with force, and you will leave in silence. And across the galaxy, that message was heard and remembered.